right, and with that, let's get going. So right now on my screen, I'm making sure everything's okay. So this is so funny. Do you guys see? No, you guys still see the red cursor, right? Okay. So your default cursor to see, like on your screen right now, you should see a white arrow. Does that sound about right? Okay. So in Revit, you know that you aren't doing anything when you just see a white arrow. Right now, I want you guys to switch to WA for wall. Okay? If your cursor looks like a plus sign or a target, that's when you know that you are in some kind of a command. In this case, it's wall, but when this cursor comes in different forms, but the most common one, if it's not the white arrow, it is the plus sign. So if you see a plus sign on your screen, that means that you're either still working in a command or it's waiting for you to start another set of walls. Does that make sense? So when you first start drawing, maybe what happens is you click around, you draw your walls. You know, I didn't even hit enter to be done. It just knows I'm done because I went through a loop. But do you see? Okay, you don't see, I'm so sorry. There is still a plus sign on my cursor right now. So if I were to click anything, I'm still drawing walls accidentally, not accidentally. So to get out of here, I have to hit escape a couple times before I go back to my white cursor. Okay? Now, I didn't spend enough time, any time, really showing that to you. I forgot that when I'm projecting, you guys just see a red arrow. And the only reason why I wanted to point it out is if you find that you might be struggling between commands, moving from one to the next, or ending one before you start another one, it could just be as simple as completely exiting out of a command. So remember, click or hit escape to end it, like whatever you're doing, whether it's drawing walls or drawing lines, and then after that, make sure you're not still in that command, whether it's drawing lines or walls, whatever it might be. You might have to hit escape one more time to completely clear out. David?
In your command, you got that green bar across the top too.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So we did talk about your ribbon always changing and kind of adapting with what you're doing. But I think so still keep looking at your ribbon, but also look at your cursor too. Those are two really good hints. Okay, good. So with that, let's go ahead and, actually no, not even yet. I'm totally kidding. I wanted to review one other thing. So some of you guys at home, a couple students at the beginning of class mentioned like, I have 1 million backup files. And I wanted to show you guys that here at school, I have my crash course. It only has 1. Let me see if I was good. I was okay about my backups here. Now who knows if more will be populated, but last week I showed you guys how to go into your file options and change they're either called your backups or your logs. So what I want to do right now is show you how you can go back and change that log if you didn't do it the first time. So in your file, and you can even just practice it here today, go to File and go down to Options for me. I'm going to keep that open for just a moment. Okay, and then once we click on Options, we will be using, it's a little bit different here. Okay, in this case, do you see where it says Journal File Cleanup? So your journals are similar to your backup. So it's asking, okay, after 10, then you can start deleting them. You can go ahead and reduce this down to 2 or 3. Okay. And that'll help clean that up. If you already have like 8 or 10 backup files, what I would suggest doing is taking a look at your backups right here. So typically number 1 is the first one that it's created, so it's usually the oldest, and then the higher the number, the newer it is. Does that make sense? So the first one, oldest, the higher the number, the newest. So maybe what you can do is go towards the beginning numbers and just delete some of those, because again, these are all significantly large files. Got it? So you can clean that up to preserve space on your computer. Now if you're starting a new file, I'm going to show you it's a little bit different. So new project, really you can do either one of these. I'm going to hit OK for architectural template. And then with this one too, you just go into options, and then this journal is set to 2 already. So it looks like it kind of overrides what we did before. So take a look at that this week. Let me know if it works. If it doesn't, come on back with whatever questions you might have and we'll review it. Okay, so to start today off, we're going to be getting to a couple things this week. So to start us off, I'm going to keep this up here just if we want like a little review. But let me, sorry Carlos, those were nice little sketches. Thank you for leaving my stuff. Okay, let me make like a little list of where we're going today. Maybe even just this week. So to start off, we're going to be talking about printing. And that includes sheets, viewports, title blocks, and PDF printers. We'll hit on each one of those things. So that's what we're starting with. And then after we hit these things, we're going to jump into windows and doors in the model. I'm going to save the windows and doors list. There's lots of things that go with that too. So let's just start with part 1 and talk about how to print in Revit. I mentioned last week to submit your models. I think most of you guys were able to do that. And then in class we would do the PDFs. So this is really how you guys will turn in your projects from now on. You'll turn in your Revit model so I can go in and see things that I can't see in the PDF. But you'll find that if you missed any points, all of those comments will be on the PDF, and I will have to show you where to find those. A lot of people don't realize that in Canvas, I actually sketch right on the PDFs that you turn in. So I'll show you where those comments are. Is everybody at the main level in their plan right now? Yeah? Okay, if you're not, go ahead and meet me there. And what we're going to do from here is let's expand the sheet menu. So if you hit that plus sign, it'll expand. One of the things that I mentioned in the lecture is if you started in the architectural the architectural template, you won't have sheets. So you won't even see that plus sign. When you first start working in Revit, you might look at this and think, oh, I don't have any sheets. You do, you just have to hit that plus sign. And where I would like to go is the first floor plan. And just wanted to point out, because Revit, this Revit template, the residential template, since it's pre-made, it has already gone through and put our main level on the first floor plan. So there's a slight disconnect there, like not a huge difference, but we want to be consistent, right? We'll get back to that in just a moment, but let me explain, let me kind of break down our screen real quick. So similar to our main level, let me go here. I'm going to keep kind of jumping back and forth between these, so let me shrink these down. So right now in main level, if we were to look at our screen without anything being selected, see how it tells us it's in a floor plan? Going back to the first day, we've done a lot in our short time here. But if I go to the first floor plan, do you see that it says sheet? Okay, so first thing to notice is that we are in sheet view. I'm just warning you now, in this lecture, my favorite thing to say is know your sheet, man. So first of many dad jokes of the day, sorry. But we know we're in a sheet. And the thing that we're looking at right here, this is essentially our title block that is attached to our sheet. If you click on it, again, you can look in properties and see some information. So pretend that I didn't click on it. If you were just looking at your screen, would you know what size this is? You would know it's a rectangle, but we really don't know if it's an 8.5 by 11, 24 by 36. This is a really weird size. It's a 22 by 34. I have some words for Revit. There's no printer in the world that prints 22 by 34, but I'll figure that out later. And we're just gonna click a couple buttons here. You can see that I can pull down on this menu similar to our walls. Remember, we could click on something, go to the pull down and see some options. This is what the 11 by 17 option would look like. So again, the way that I did that, I clicked on the sheet until it's highlighted. I came down here and changed it to an 11 by 17. Okay? So you can see that the sheet is significantly larger than the 11 by 17. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit Control Z and undo that. And there are many other sheet sizes that we can import in. We can also create custom title blocks. That's something that we'll get into a little bit later when we get into annotation. I just wanted to show you where we were starting. So remind me again, what is this that we're looking at right here?
The print size.
Close. So over here in the properties, it is the print size. But if you were to explain to somebody what view you are in, what view is this? Yep, so we're looking at a sheet right now. Good. Now, if you're not familiar with construction drawings, any type of a floor plan, elevation, any type of a drawing you have typically comes with a sheet and a title block. It gives you project information. Autodesk is advertising themselves here, so the first things we'll do is learn how to turn off this logo, maybe add your own. It has consultant as well as designer information. And then down here is where we are going to start editing some stuff. And again, the power of BIM modeling, I really like it. So right now, this right here is called A1, first floor plan. And right here it says first floor plan, correct? What should it be? Yours says A3? So you are on the first floor reflected ceiling plan. Jump up 2 from where I am. They look really similar. Got it? Yeah. Okay, good. So tell me again, if we're being consistent, what should this actually be called? Good. I'm going to rename mine. Try to rename yours. I will catch up with you in like 3 seconds. I just want to see if you guys are able to do it. And then tell me where else you might notice the change. Good. Yep, over on the properties, it also changed the name of the sheet here. There's one thing that I talk about all the time, and I know this is me being a little OCD. When you go to rename anything, whether it's a main level here or an elevation marker, a dimension, all you need to do is click on it once to activate it. And then in some of these, you have to click on it twice to select it. As soon as you see it blue, don't hit backspace, don't grab your cursor. Hey, how are you? Are you here to cool us off?
Yes.
God bless you. We'll take ice waters, Cokes, fans, hairbreadths.
I only use air usually, but yeah.
Oh, dang it! Is it the whole building that's acting
Yes.
up? Okay.
Yeah.
Good
but I mean,
times.
I think it's gonna
Hi.
start cooling down, so
Okay.
we
We
should
just
be okay.
we just requested ice water, lemonade, whatever you've got.
I mean, I'll pass it on.
Okay. Thanks.
No one listens to me, but I'll make some.
Hey, welcome to my world. Alright, what I meant to say is just click on it. I'm not hitting backspace. I'm not putting my mouse on it. Just start typing. Revit knows what to do. I like to save you guys as many strokes as possible. I just about killed my hands and my wrists in the first 5 or 6 years of my career just because I had kind of bad habits, and so a comfortable mouse is important, good posture is important. Don't get carpal tunnel or tendonitis like I did. So every stroke I can save you, I will. Now the other thing that we're going to do in this class, and this will take a little bit of time to get used to, but I'm going to try to share a sheet with you guys that I put together in my blueprint reading class. We are going to use a national CAD standard to name all of our sheets. So with that in mind, we are creating interior design sheets. So if you want, you can name all of your sheets I, and then I'll tell you what comes after that. So for you guys, it's either going to be I or AI for architectural interiors. Pick one. The reason why it would never be ID for interior design is because D for National CAD Standard stands for demolition. So you don't want all of your sheets to look like they're being demolished. And I think contractors, clients, they overlook it, but I just think that the construction world is such a small community. So I think it's important that we all kind of agree that these are the standards that we're going to agree on. So tell me again, what should should they be named ID? What does the D stand for? Good. So we'll keep that off. If it is a demolition sheet, go ahead and put it on there. What are the two things you should designate your sheets with? Yep, numbers. But as far as the letter, what are the two options we have? Good. AI or I. Perfect. Architectural interiors or interiors. You get to decide. By habit, I typically will always have an A there, just because those are my sheets. And then the other thing that I will also include in the rubric is the number your sheet should be. So I'm going to do this one slowly. So these are floor plans, so they will always be a 1. Floor plans are 1. Exterior elevations are 2. You don't have to memorize these. I will give you a sheet and they'll always be in the rubric. Sections are 3. I can't remember what 4 is. Interior elevations and details are 5. And then renderings are 9s. So each sheet has a number. So in the past you may have just done like sheet 1, 2, 3, 4. But each sheet should have a number that goes with it. So far, I've got the professional designation, which is AI. And David, you worked in mechanical, so I'm sure you had M's or ME.
Well, it just varied.
Okay. Yeah, so different consultants have different designations.
Different clients have different numbers, schemes they want.
Yep. So I've got the consultant designation, and then I've got the sheet designation, and then the one after that is the actual sheet number. So we always start with 01 because there's no such thing as a 0 sheet because that would mean it's nothing. So we always start with number 1. So AI 101 or I 101 is where we start with. Your second floor plan would be AI 102 because it's the second sheet, and you would just keep going on from there. But again, look for that in our rubric, and I'll always point it out in class what it should be as well, just so you get into good habits. So when you go out into the world, you can take them with you. Now you can see here, see how it got bumped down? Sorry, Brooke, go ahead.
Sorry, I just have a question. So
Yeah.
is that usually just going to be based on like the firm you're working for, how you label it?
Yep, exactly. So you're kind of at their mercy. But again, a lot of times, like people who start firms were just like you and I one day. Maybe they didn't know. You could suggest it if like the moment feels right, but it's hard to change old habits. But a lot of you guys will go out and branch on your own too and make your own firms. So I just want you guys to know where you could start.
My
Okay.
title block disappeared.
So are you still, let's come back up here. Are you still in the A101 main level?
Yeah.
Let's see. Can you still see your floor plan? I'm sorry, I'm not wearing shoes. It's the only thing I can take off to pull it. Let's see. So zoom out for me. Okay. It did disappear. When in doubt, Control Z until it comes back.
I thought, yeah, okay, nothing came that far. Okay, so.
You were
01
one
then?
Control Z away. What was that?
01 then?
Yes, please. So AI 101. So far the only thing we've talked about is the sheet. Now the other important part of this is this little box right here. And if you click on it, look in my properties, look in your properties, what is this we've clicked on? The viewport. So it's not just the floor plan, but it's the viewport that's showing us our floor plan view. If you've taken AutoCAD before, the name Viewport might be familiar to you. They work pretty similarly to one another, also kind of different. And I want to show you guys what a viewport can consist of. So the first thing is kind of like viewport outline. Do you see how it's, if I click on it, you can see the actual frame. But when I click off of it, the frame goes away. Okay. The other thing that the viewport consists of is the view title. This is called the title with line. Do you guys see that right there? So here it'll tell you the level as well as the scale that we brought it in at. We're going to talk about that for just a little bit too. Before we do that though, I don't know if we've talked about this. I think we did on our crash course. Does anybody remember what these little, they look like houses, they're not houses. Do you guys remember what these markers are?
Cameras for views.
Yeah, so they're our exterior elevation cameras. Now right now, they're not really helping us because they're not calling anything out. And so whenever you place something on a sheet, and by something I mean whenever you place a viewport through, via plan, elevation, whatever it is, I want to make sure you're using good space of your real estate. And I would argue that there's way too much viewport for the floor plan that we have here. Would you guys agree? Okay. So we can correct that, and the way that I would do it would be to go back to the main level, and I'm going to teach you about something called extents. So remind me again, what were we just talking about? We weren't talking about the title block or the sheet. What was that term for the viewport? Good. So your viewport has some parameters set to it. And you can easily do that in the main level. Eventually we can do it on the sheet too, but I think when you first start off it makes more sense to see it here on the main level. So in your properties, everybody scroll down, and about halfway, if you see where my slider is, about halfway through, do you see something called extents? Okay. And by default, crop view and crop region are turned off. Go ahead and click on, if you click on crop view, nothing will happen. But if you click on crop region, oh weird, on my computer at home it turned both of them off. For now, or sorry, it turned both of them on. We do want both of them on for now. And maybe you noticed, maybe you didn't, but when you turn them on, what graphically was added to your screen? Good, a box. This box is your extents, and it is your crop region visible, okay? What that means is that everything within this box or this crop region will be visible. So if we wanted to shrink that, where do you think I would click and drag? The dots. Good. So most everything in Revit, if you are able to click on it and drag it, it's going to be a blue dot. So I'm just getting these really close to my floor plan. If we expand our floor plan later, like if we add all of the outdoor spaces, you can come back and adjust this. David?
So, my thing's still off from the cameras. Would it be good to just get it centered on them before?
No, don't worry about that. I would just go through and fix the extents, because what we're going to do...
The house actually goes past the cameras. And
yeah, I would leave it for now.
okay.
Yeah, and what we'll do, we'll center it when we actually don't even need to center it. We're going to drag and drop it in just a moment. But David, go into your floor plan for me, not your sheet. So go back up to your floor plan. So on the bottom in your project browser, one more down. Yep. Scroll all the way up to your floor plans. Yep, and then go to your main floor. Double click on it for me. Yeah. And now go to your properties and then scroll down. Oh, see, here's your extent. So it's there, it just needs to be expanded. Good. And now turn on crop view and crop region. And now if you click back on your main floor, do you see that rectangle? So zoom out for me. Yep. Now grab that rectangle and start shrinking it in. That wasn't there a minute ago. Grab the blue. Yep. There you go. Everybody else have it? Yeah. Okay, you guys good over here? All right. I don't want to lose you. Put your phones away. I promise everything's okay outside of this class. You can glance down, but I just don't want to lose you. So once we have our viewport set, I keep crop view on, but I turn off crop region visible. Let me zoom out a little. When crop region visible is on, we see that box around it. And when you put it on your sheet, I don't want to see the box around it. And you can turn that on or off here or on the sheet. You really do have control of those, both places. But what you don't want to do is keep both of them off, because now do you see that these icons came back? Do you guys feel cold air? Okay, good. Yeah.
So is that something you would do at the very beginning of the project?
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, the floor plan changes. So right now we don't have outdoor space, so we're going to have to add it. But it's something I do before I print,
Okay.
if that helps at all. Yep.
Maybe turn off crop view and crop view.
Yeah, and the only reason why I wanted to show you that you can bring these things back. Okay, but when I'm printing, I do want crop view on. All right. Now I'm going to hop back to the sheet. You guys come with me. Where were we? I renamed mine. I don't remember what. Oh yeah, mine is down here on the AI 101. So let's just verify. If we click on the viewport, my viewport looks significantly smaller. What about you guys? Okay, so viewport looks good. What doesn't look so great anymore? What's kind of floating out in the middle of nowhere? What was that, Maddie? No, yeah, Maddie, right? Yeah, what was it? So the papers, it is big, but for our projects, we're always going to use large sheets, and we're going to be adding more floor plans and more details. So eventually we will fill this up. What I was going for there, I'll just show you guys, is this view title. So my plan is way up here, but my view title is way down there. So first, what I'm going to do is show you the easy way to fix it, and then I'm going to show you the manual way of fixing it, okay? The easiest way to fix it, click on your viewport and delete it. I promise it doesn't delete your floor plan. There was no warnings. You guys know Revit warns you a million times. But with your viewport, you're really just deleting the viewport. You're not deleting the plan. And then what I like to do is to place a view on a sheet, you come back up to your views up here. And if you take a look at my screen, find your view, and it's a simple drag and then drop. And then the last thing you need to do, see how it's kind of hanging out on my cursor? I just need to select where to place it, and I'm going to go bottom right hand. And as soon as you bring it back on, it resizes that view title for you. Did that work for everybody?
So you want it down in the corner then?
Mm-hmm. And then, David, since you asked, I'm going to make you answer. Why on earth, before anybody answers, imagine this in your head. So we're so used to working on the computer that we forget that we're going to physically print these off. You can use your notebook as an example. If you have a whole bunch of papers and you're leafing through them, what's the first thing that you're going to see if you're trying to find a sheet or something? Can you imagine how you go through a stapled set? I wish I had one in here. I don't. Yeah, so typically, if we have a set, and David, if you don't mind, I'm going to steal your binder to show everybody what I mean. If you're holding a set of papers together, in this case it would be a construction document set, if you're trying to find something, you usually come here and go something like this. Does that seem familiar? So what you always see first is that bottom right-hand corner. So typically when we're laying out drawings, we don't put things in the center. Again, some people do. Brooke, you asked, everybody kind of has their own standards, right? So there will be some offices who put everything in the center, but a lot of offices put things in the bottom right or the top right to start, because that's kind of that prime real estate right on the edge of the set. Okay, just little things. Let's talk about viewports a little bit more, okay? Maddie, I'm going to go back to your comment. You said that the sheet size looks a little big for this plan. So instead of changing the sheet size, what I'm going to do is I want to make the scale of this viewport a little bit bigger. Why don't you guys spend like 15 seconds trying to do it on your own? And I'm going to jump right in. But just think about anything else in Revit. If you want to edit something, think about what you need to do first. See if it works for you. If it doesn't, I'm going to jump right in. So in this case, if I wanted to change this from 1/4 inch to, let's say, up to 3/16, I would click on my viewport, and after I click on my viewport, where do I typically see my properties of anything? Up in properties, right? Do you guys see anywhere on this that tells me the scale? The very first line. Now we were moving around in here, so you may have been still scrolled down to extents, but if you come all the way up to the top, you can see 1/4 inch, and when I pull down, I can make it 3/16. My view card, or my graphic card is being a little bit slow. I can bump it all the way up to 1/2. You guys can play around with that a little bit. So again, click on your viewport, change the scale. You can be ridiculous, it's okay. We can always do a Control-Z and fix it later. But where I'd like you to end up, let's meet at 3/8 of an inch. Okay? 3/8 of an inch. And just as a review, if you double click on your scroll wheel, that does a zoom all for you. I don't hear a lot of clicks. I think everybody got 3/8, okay? Yeah. So now I'm going to talk about how to move these things around. If you click on a viewport, again, I'm sorry you can't see my screen. Do you guys see a 4-sided arrow? A 4-headed arrow? As soon as you see that, you can just click and drag and place it wherever you want. That moves the view title. I'm sorry, the viewport. I was thinking ahead. The other thing that I hope you guys can see highlighted here is that when you have the viewport selected, do you see that you can drag the ends of the view title? Now you can't move the view title yet though, right? They're still moving together. So when you click on the viewport, you are moving the viewport and the view title, and you have the option to change the length of your view title line. Are you guys able to easily do that? Okay. So this, no joke, was one of the hardest things for me when I first learned Revit. I could not figure out how these two aligned with one another. Right now, do you guys see, and this is not how you guys would have to do it, but if you guys wanted to put your view title right at the edge of the corner of the building, do you guys see that? The way that you would move it is don't click on the viewport. So click off of it by either hitting escape or just clicking anywhere else. Come and click right on the view title line. And do you see that the viewport isn't highlighted and I don't have that drag line? That's when you just have the view title. So try to move that independently. And let's get it nice and close just to kind of practice moving it. And then after you've moved it, then I want you to shorten that line so it ends right on the edge of wherever your building might be. So can I shorten the line if I just have the view title selected? What do I need to click on first? The entire viewport, and then there's that little blue dot, and I can drag it over. So those two, for better or worse, they move independently of each other. Be smarter than your teacher. Do not let that trip you up. It took me way too long to figure that out. It was horrible. All right, everybody with me? So far, so good? Okay. Now, let's say if you ever wanted to add another view to this. Let's say we did have a first floor framing plan. How do we add more views to a sheet? Yep, you just look at your views and drag and drop them on. The thing to be warned, though, is you can't use your view more than once. It'll say it's already placed on a sheet. So even though this is on A101, I can't go place it on another sheet. I'll show you why and how you can still create a different view from the same view. I'll show you how to do that later in the semester. But for now, just know that you can't place one view than on more than one sheet. Okay. Right. So now that we have a sheet set up, let's go into the next part. So let me do this real quick. So everybody feel okay with sheets and the title blocks? Okay. If you wanted to see what kind of a title block you have, what do you need to do? Click on it, and where do you look? Properties. Yeah, I think you guys will, it'll be muscle memory soon enough. You'll click on something and you'll immediately go to property. This will be your life. That's your life. Good. We've got our title blocks. So your title block and sheet, they essentially work together right now. So your title block and your sheet are created together. There are ways of creating them separately, but it makes life a little bit messy. Okay, the other thing, the viewport. Are the viewports and the title blocks the same thing? They're not. How do you get a viewport onto a title block if Revit didn't automatically place it there for you? Yep, good. Drag and drop from your project browser. So again, it's that same thing. You're looking to this side and then back to your screen. So it's always like this left and right. Good. With your viewports, how do you change the scale of them? Can you change the scale? Yep. You click on it, right? And then where do you look again? Properties. Good. You can change the properties there. In your viewport, is Revit perfect and it places it exactly where you want it to be and crops it the right way? It doesn't. Where did I teach you guys to go to change those? Do we do it on the sheet yet? No, let me show you. You can do it on the sheet. So I'm going to click on Viewport. See how I can start playing with it here? So it's showing, you can turn it on so you can see it, but you just can't edit it here, right? So if you forget to turn it off, just click on it, crop region visible, okay? But if you wanted to edit them, where would you go? Yeah, your actual floor plan or your model space of the floor plan. Do you guys remember what menu crop region and crop region visible is under? Extents. Good. So a lot of stuff, we haven't even gotten to printing. This is just to kind of set it up. The great thing about this though is once it's set up, you are one and done. So Riley, you were asking me like, what do you do at the beginning of a project? So at the beginning of the project, I don't go through and lay out my viewports, but I do put together a skeleton sheet set. So even if they're blank, it at least lets me know, okay, I need interior elevations, I need exterior, I need this 3D view. So even if they're blank, I will set those sheets up so I'll kind of know what needs to be worked on. Okay? All right, let me kind of cross that off for now. Now we are at PDF printers. PDF printers have been a pain in the rear the last couple of years. We don't know what's happened, but before in the lab we had Adobe PDF and it was great. And then what ended up happening is the Adobe PDF printer stopped working on the network. So what I've done, if you guys go, actually everybody come back to Canvas with me, and I am going to meet you at an assignment for today. Let me go to Student View. So I'd like you guys to go to the 2.1 PDF printer. Do you guys see that? And for this next part, this is something that you guys will do at home and then also here in the lab. So I know that you guys have a working PDF printer. So these two links right here should take you to a website where you can download a free PDF printer. What on earth does that mean? There might be people who have never printed a PDF before here in class. It's common, but maybe not that common, depending on the line of work you're in. But now, when I say print a PDF, it doesn't mean that it's going to come off of a printer. What it means is there is a digital printer installed on your computer that you can actually go set everything up like you would a printer, and when you hit print, instead of it coming out of a printer like this, or I keep pointing across the hall because we have our huge printers across the hall. I'll show you guys one day. What it does is it actually exports them as a PDF. So if you guys have ever used the Microsoft Suite in Word and PowerPoint, you can either save as a PDF or export as a PDF. In this class, we print as a PDF. Now, most of us at home and even here in the lab have a PDF printer. The problem with those printers is they only go up to 11 by 17. And you guys hopefully remember from just a few seconds ago, the hour sheets are big. The one that we're working on today is a 22 by 34. So we need a PDF printer to accommodate our sheets. So I've given you guys two. Let's start with Cute PDF. It seems to work the best, but you can download both and see which one you like. When you go to Cute PDF, it doesn't look that fancy. When you go to PDF Architect, it looks a little bit fancier. They both work, they both have free versions. But again, let's start with Cute PDF. I'm going to walk you guys through the download process. So you have a printer in here, and then don't forget when you go home, do this exact same thing so you have a printer at home too. So for this,
Do we need to load them on these machines?
yeah, let's do it on these machines too, because the PDF printer we have here has been so unreliable on the network that I'm just going to jump in the first day of printing and show you guys how to do it. So with this, let's go ahead and do our free download. Do you guys see this little?
What do we want?
I'm dancing on it on the screen. This one right here. Not very intuitive, but it's free. We can't be picky.
Yeah, I've used that for years.
Cool.
It works good.
And then down here, lower left-hand corner, I have a little download that popped up. Do you guys see that on mine? Click on it. It plays a little song and say yes. Go ahead and make changes. I don't know what it's asking, but I'm going to accept it. I'm sorry if you lose your house and your children to this, but we're going to say yes for now. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Mine froze.
Let's see. Where did it freeze?
But my mouse won't move anymore.
Oh no, sad. Okay, we'll see what happens. I think mine is okay. Let me do a quick check. I should be good. Did anybody else freeze? No? Okay. Do this for me, Riley. Hit Control-Alt-Delete. Oh, it won't let you on your machine. You don't have a task manager here, right? Okay, do one more thing for me. Down here at the bottom of your screen, you have all these little icons as to what's going on, I hope. Try to right-click on one of them and close the window, or try to shut it down, or nothing.
This screen just went black.
Oh no, it's so mad at us. Okay, let's give it a minute. If not, I'll stop projecting. You might have to.
That's all I see is just you're projecting.
You don't see our screen at all? Oh no, we broke her computer. Okay, let me walk through this and then I'll pause and let you hop in. Sorry, Riley. Anybody else get in trouble with their PDF printer? No? Okay. The way that we can check to see if it printed, if we go to Revit, just do a quick File, Print, Print. Okay, so again, File, Print, Print. I'm sure that there's also this tiny little printer here. Control P. They all get you there. On your list of printers, you should see Cute PDF Writer now, except for Riley. Sorry. Raise your hand if you don't see it, except for Riley. Not yet, Heather? I wish I could hear that. Try that one more time.
I didn't, when I hit download, it doesn't pop up.
Oh, it didn't go?
It says, do I
Okay.
wanna run or save it? So I hit run?
Yes,
Okay.
you got it. That works too. Now, Heather, are you online using the Internet Explorer or Chrome? So Heather, I'm going to steal your attention real quick. When I'm in class, I use Chrome right here. The only reason why I do is it makes life easy for me for finding downloads because it places them right here. Are you using the Internet Explorer? Okay, that one's a little bit different for me. I think Chrome is a little bit nicer for using Canvas.
I see Chrome across the bottom, so I
If it isn't on the bottom, it's most likely on your desktop. So if I go, I just hit Windows D to quickly get to the desktop. It looks like this. You should have it on there somewhere. Did they put it on your desktop or no?
So I'm switching from.
No. Stay where you are, sorry. But before you leave, take a peek if it's there. And then for everybody else, if you want it to be down here, you can just pull and drag down and it'll dock it.
That's
Okay.
what I use it on my phone.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say you can use it here too. It's a little bit nicer. Now, one thing that I found out that you can do on a PC, if anybody knows the Mac shortcut of this, I will love you forever. If you want to see what you've downloaded, because sometimes these little boxes disappear, while you are in any web browser, hit Control-J and all of your downloads pop up. So this has saved me many times. Control+J. It doesn't work on a Mac. So Mac users, that's your homework for this semester. Figure out how I can get this on my Mac screen. Okay.
I could do Command Option L.
I love you. Really?
I just Googled it.
Okay, Command Option L.
Option what?
Command Option L. I'll try it. I'm going to pause real quick before we get into the second half of it. Okay, now we are at the actual printing process. So if you guys are taking notes, just know that 46 minutes into our lecture is when I actually get to the printing part of it. So if you just want to jump to that, it's 46 minutes in. What I want to do is I'm going to go through the whole thing first. It goes by really quickly. I want you guys to really just watch because there's so many little things to click on. And then once I get through it, I'm going to undo everything and then we'll do it together. So when you are in your sheet, you can just go up to the print menu, and from here I can click on setup. Okay, so I click on setup, and the first thing I want to do is change my printer. And actually, I'm sorry, I should have done that out here. So what printer do I want? Good. There's so many other, there's Adobe, there's Microsoft, but we want Cute PDF. Why is Cute PDF important?
Because it can do big enough.
Yeah, it can do large sheets. So I go back to setup, and I'm just going to show you real quick. With Cute PDF, I've got letter, Arch A. These are the sizes we're looking for, the architectural sizes. If I go back and I grab even Microsoft Print to PDF, and I go to setup, I don't have those sheets anymore. So that's why we like Cute PDF. Back to setup. So first I want to make sure I have the right sheet size. So in this case, it's going to be Arch D. You'll slowly learn these names. In this class, we'll be using 3 sizes: 11 by 17, Arch D, and then Arch E. And I'll teach them as we go through, but Arch D is a 24 by 36. Now after we've selected that, I always want you to center, and I always want zoom to be 100%. The reason why I don't want it to fit to page is that it loses its scale. So it might look better on the page, but then you can't scale off of it. So what happened when I set the zoom to 100%? Did you guys see what happened here? Yeah, it drives me crazy that it does that. I'm like, well, fix your menu so that they're in the right order, okay? So zoom 100%, keep it centered. And that's the only thing that we need to do right now. Okay, I'm going to hit cancel. Hopefully it doesn't save any of that. And I'm going to hit cancel again. Now let's all do it from the beginning, and then we'll hit print together, and I'll show you where to go. So you can hit your little printer. The shortcut is Control-P, either way. And then once you're in your menu, go ahead and select Cute PDF as your printer. And then go to your setup, bottom right. Do you guys remember the size? Good, Arch D. Should I center it yet, or when should I center it? After the zoom. Or, you can just do it twice if you like. And then with that, I'm done with the print setup here. I hope this is somewhat straightforward. I think if you've ever printed, at some point you may have gone through and done some of these things. Now here's something that's going to be a little bit different with Revit, but also awesome. So right now, we have it selected to combine multiple selected views or sheets into a single file. So that means that when you're doing homework and you work on a floor plan and an elevation and a 3D view for me, you can turn in all 3 PDFs in one file. So it makes it easy for me to grade, it makes it easy for you to scroll through when you're sending stuff to your clients, other teachers, it just makes life easier. So in your rubric, you will always see that it's almost worth as much points to print correctly as it is to do the work. Having them be to scale and having them be combined is a huge deal. And I'm not sure why, but the past couple of semesters, the classes have kind of struggled. So just remember, combine and scale. Combine and scale. It's so important. So now after that, we have to select what we're actually printing. So do you see where it says print range right here? Okay, let's go ahead and do selected views and sheets. And then when you click select, do you see how it has all of our views listed? If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can start seeing sheet, and then here's the AI 101 that I created. And then just for fun, click on these 2 elevations. They're probably most likely blank, but I just want you to see what it looks like when you print more than one sheet. Okay, so again, I'm going to scooch this over. I got here by clicking select on selected views and sheets. And then for now, I'm just doing the main level and 2 elevations. So the A6, the A7, which we haven't corrected yet, and then whatever you named your main level. Everybody with me so far? Okay. We're going to click OK. And then it's going to say, do you want to save these? So that just means if you know that you're going to keep printing these sheets, you can. But in this class, we keep adding sheets every week, so it's not very helpful to save it. Later, when we get to like the midterm and the final project, absolutely. But right now, we're just changing it too much. Okay. So now what we can do, let's check one more time. Does it say cute PDF? Okay. Is it combining files? Mine isn't, so I'm just going to click on it. The thing that's great is Revit will now warn you. So if I kept it separate, it would say, hey, you have chosen to take these 3 files and make them separate. Do you want to continue? And if I hit no, it'll come back here so I could fix it. Do we know where we're saving it? It kind of just picked a place for us, right? Why don't we all hit browse and select where we want to put our PDFs? So remember last week I showed you guys how to go to this PC and find your network drives. So hopefully Julianne and Riley, was it you that didn't have it? Are you guys on today?
I don't have one still. It doesn't look like.
Oh, weird.
It should look like, it should be in network locations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have one.
What about you, Julianne?
Where am I looking?
So on your save as, go to this PC, and then down at the bottom under network locations, you don't see your name still? Okay, I did leave that note under his desk. Maybe he wasn't in, but he should be in today. I'll send him an email too. I should have sent him an email. I think he can do it remotely.
Mine went away.
Yours went?
So did mine.
Is everybody's gone?
Mine was not there, so I logged back out and logged back in, and it was back.
So you mean you logged out of your computer
so
entirely?
When I first came in and logged in, it wasn't there, so
Oh.
I logged out and logged back in.
Okay, maybe because they were doing updates, it might just take a minute. So if most of you guys can't see it, save it somewhere where you know you can find it, and then before you go today, send that to me, and then you'll do it on your own too. But for now, I'm going to put mine in my Revit folder in the tiny house, and whenever I save a PDF, I always add a date to it. So this is going to look like a weird date, but I start with the year, and then I go with the month. I can't believe we're in September, and then the day. And I just like naming it that way because then it'll always come up chronologically instead of getting mixed up. So that's how I know That's how I typically date. I think they might do this way in Europe, or I don't know. And then I hit save. We all hit save. And then okay. And you will see it might ask you one more time where to save it, because now Revit is trading off to Qt PDF. So see how this came up again? So Revit was like, okay, you wanted it there, but Qt PDF is printing, so I just need to go find that location one more time. So the file name is still right, it just lost the location.
So how did you find that again when it's on the save as screen?
Yep, so I went, did you see this little pull down bar right here?
Go back to this PC.
Yeah. Hopefully your drive is there. If not, you can put it on your desktop just for now as part of our exercise. And I'm going to save my PDF in there. And I don't remember how Qt PDF works. Some PDF printers, as soon as you print, it pulls up a preview. I don't have a preview yet. So I'm actually going to go to my desktop. I had that folder open. Here's the PDF. I'm going to open it up and take a look. Okay, it does not fit on the sheet. I'm going to open it with the PDF viewer.
Mine's wondering what it wants to open the file with. Is there a particular one?
Yeah, let me see what we can try to see if you can. Let me try it real quick. They have changed. Okay, mine worked. Right click on it and see if you can open it with Adobe Acrobat. So again, open with Adobe Acrobat. And I got there through a right click. Let me know if that works for you.
Mine didn't ask if I wanted to view it, but
Did it, so let's see, on mine, I don't even know what this is. Does your screen look like mine right now?
no.
So I don't know what program, wait, let me look down here. What am I in? I have to be honest, I don't know what program this is. I'm gonna close out of this. So Heather, just to make sure we're all seeing the same thing, I would go find that file through a browser or through like an internet, or not internet, what is a file explorer, sorry. And then right click, open with Adobe Acrobat. Is it asking you to sign in? I hope it doesn't. Can you hit cancel or does it close down? Okay, good. As long as it keeps it open. I'm gonna make mine the default application. Hopefully it'll be nice to me when I do.
I think mine opened in some browser or something.
I know, mine did too. Mine went, I think it went to Internet Explorer. Yeah. But the reason why I like it in Acrobat is, at least for me, I'm used to this. I can easily zoom in and zoom out. And what you guys have to remember, what you see on your screen right now is what I will see. Okay?
Nothing there though.
That's okay, but is there more to look at? So take a look right here. But wait, there's more. Do you guys see that you can push down on these pages?
Bring up two sheets first, so you just scroll around to the
Yeah. So on page 3, I do have that AI 101. And Heather, you should too.
Arrow up and down and circles like you do.
So let's see, how do I get here? If you go to, let me see. I know it's not read mode. Let me see what that does. Do this for me. I don't know if this will do anything. Hit Control and H. Does that change anything for you? Okay, you might not be in Adobe Acrobat. Do you see this little logo right here?
No.
Okay.
It's just a PDF.
Okay. I think you might still be in, do you still, is your E highlighted down here? Okay, I think you're in Internet Explorer. Hit X to close out of that. Okay, and then
All my tabs or just not?
you can close all tabs, yeah. I think, I don't know, you can decide.
Completely out of Internet
at least just out of that view, your PDF. Okay, and then once you're out, will you open up, do you see this little folder down here? Click on that and then go to wherever your file is. I'll meet you there. Are you there? Okay, right click on your PDF for me and go down to open with. Okay, and then on mine, Adobe Acrobat is the first one. Is yours as well? Okay, click on that. And I think Brooke said it asked her to sign in. She hit cancel and it still worked. What? Okay, this is good news. When you guys take the digital graphics class in the future, well, even now you guys have free Photoshop and InDesign, so it's awesome. At home here, I can show you guys where to do that, but this is our first semester using it through the what's called the Enterprise ID. So if it has you log in, just use the same login information you used when you first got here, and then Heather, your screen should look like mine.
You just have to put your broom mail in, so it's like your Canvas sign-in at broommail.slcc.edu.
Is my login?
It's your login, and then it'll redirect you to like your normal Canvas login.
Yeah, it's totally different than what we've done before. At home, you guys don't have to go through this. And the other thing, so just when you're at home, you can also use Adobe Reader. So there's two different Adobes. There's Adobe Acrobat, which is what we're using here. It's like the full version that does everything. And then there's Adobe Reader that just lets you kind of open and view PDFs. Say that again? So whatever you use to log into your My Page account, it's the same one. They just use them over and over again. Okay. Too. I actually want you guys to upload 2 PDFs. Well, just the one from here because it worked, and then when you guys do your homework assignments this week, I'm saying assignments because now you still have to turn in your tiny house as a PDF, right? And then you also have to turn in your modern 2-bedroom as a PDF. So I will be able to see there that your PDF printer is working. For this one, just go ahead and submit this 3 pages that we did as the practice here in lab. Okay? And then in just a minute, we'll get going on adding windows and doors. So I am going to have the website open for, what is that, Custom 61. So we can look at the windows and doors, and we'll just continue working on our tiny house. So Heather, Julianne, I'm going to be around to see what yours might be doing. The only thing I didn't tell you guys to do is to put your name where it says owner. But either way, when your assignments come to me on Canvas, I know who it belongs to. But just so if you print it off, I will know that it's yours and know who to find.
Can we change the project name as well so that it can be tiny house?
Yeah, it would be tiny house. Good. There you go. Okay, so now moving on. Oh, Maddie, what's up?
What is the one thing for the modern house?
So that one would be modern house or modern 2-bedroom. Yep, you got it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I want us to submit that test PDF to both the due today and due next Tuesday.
Just the one that was due today. So that was kind of like the 2.1, that was just kind of like our in-class exercise to do. Hopefully I pulled up the right one. Okay, that's all right. The reason why I wanted you to do it several times, just to make sure that it's working. So if you run into any trouble, again, come back to this recording and then also let me know. Okay, let's go to house plans. I thought it would have been saved in my history. Yes, now you can be done with that. Go ahead and meet me back in Revit with your tiny house. I am going to pull up the modern casita here. Maybe. Did they stop selling it over the weekend? Okay, if I click on this one, maybe it'll show me. If you like this plan, we've got this just like it. Oh.
I found it under the modern house plans when you were browsing right there. Yeah.
Thank you. They've gotten a lot more since when I first started working with them. Modern 2-bed. There we go. Thank you. Okay, I'll keep this up so we can keep referring back to it. And what we're doing today is starting to add more to our plan. There we go. So we're going to meet right here. Now let me ask you guys, so we did most of this part here at home. How did things go when you guys were doing your modern 2-bedroom? Were you guys able to get through it okay? Was Revit kind of doing what you wanted it to do? Okay, good. Yeah.
Was if there's two different roof types or roof levels, how do we change it?
What you would do, just like we did in our elevations, you could create like roof level 1, roof level 2. So some walls would go up to 1 and then some walls would go up to another. And then once we actually put in our roof, we will be adjusting our levels to match what's going on here. We're not doing it yet, but we will get to it. Okay.
Now you're just putting it at the same level like we did on the other house, all right?
Yeah, so right now everything's just like one flat level, and then we'll detail it up later. Okay. All right, so with this one now, we are going to take some creative licenses and essentially, again, not even creative license. Remember, this is just kind of a nice digital sketch that somebody has created for us. If you guys look here, we have to look between the floor plan as well as the elevations to see which windows are similar. So do you see right off the bat, these two look like they're the same? If you guys look in the kitchen, do you see one more that looks somewhat similar? What I'm going to do right now is show you guys the elevations and we can decide if they are truly the same windows. So at the front of the house, here's our kitchen window, right? That's what it looks like. And then the back of the house, are they truly the same window? So they're the same width, right? But they're obviously not the same height. But we have at least the width going for us. Oops, I always click on the wrong one. And I think that this one is also really close to the same width. So we just know that we have 1, 2, 3 of the same width, and then one that's a little bit smaller. Okay. The other thing, we have these kind of 2 smaller windows right here. And if we look at that in plan, see how that window looks here, right? And then if I come back to another side view, those 2 are the same window. Okay, so really this is just kind of like a sketch that we're working off of. So in our sketch, if this whole bedroom is about 16 feet across, do you think that these are 3-foot windows, 4-foot windows, 3.5? What do you guys want to make these? And it'll be the same here. What do you guys think? 3, 3.5, or 4? 3.5? Okay, so we'll do 3.5 windows. And then height-wise, we will do like 18 inches for this one. And this one right here was a square window, wouldn't you say? Right? So we'll do 3.5 by 3.5. Everybody with me on those 2 different window sizes? Okay. And remember, when you're doing your own projects, you get to decide what the window sizes are, similar to what we're doing now. Or if you're working off of a plan that another designer put together, you would ask them, right? So it's really how things get modeled in the office. So coming over here to Revit, let's start with where that button is. So we did it quickly in the crash course. Where could we find our windows here? Is that pretty obvious? Yeah, we click on window. I haven't hit Control S for a while, so it's telling me to hit Control S. And if we pull down with our properties, you guys will notice how many window types do we have loaded in this project? I have 3. I have fixed with trim, window casement double, and then double hung. You guys see that? Now if I wanted more, right, because these are different families. So they're all from the same family, just different sizes. I could click Load Family right here. And then that way, if there was a different type of window that I wanted, I can come look through these. So everybody scroll down to where it says Windows and just click on them, and over on the right side you should be seeing a preview. As you guys look through, tell me what you think looks most appropriate for kind of the modern project that we're working on.
And how did you get to load family?
Okay, so while I'm in Window, let me go all the way back, click on Window. And while you're in Window, if you don't see what you want here in the properties,
Yeah.
over here, almost middle of your screen, load family. But it won't automatically take you to Windows. You have to come here and find Windows and start clicking through. Now, I personally think that all of these here don't really match the house. Would you guys agree? Mm-hmm. Doesn't really match. So let's do this. Let's just grab a window just to practice pulling it in. Let's do something kind of crazy. Let's do an oval or an octagon. Any one of these. So if you want the oval or octagon, click on them and then hit open. And now, do you see that it loaded it up and it's like, okay, where do you want to put it? No, I don't necessarily want to place this one yet. So if I want to change the window I'm placing, where do I go to change the window type? Properties, good. Now for this one, let's do fixed with trim. And I think we just agreed that our windows are going to be 3.5 feet by 18 inches or 3.5 feet, right? Do we see any of those sizes there? No. So let's grab one of them just to put it in. And let's go ahead and place it. And then just like any other command, once we've placed one of them, what should we do to be done? Yep, escape. And then what? Escape one more time, right? It was still waiting for us. So now we've got this window in here, but it's not the right size. So I'm going to click on the window, and over here in properties, do you guys see where it says edit type? You guys see that button? We're going to go through and we're going to edit it. But before we make any edits, what do you think a smart thing to do would be? So we don't override what's here, because we're about to change the 36 by 24. Duplicate, yep. So whenever we do any, so just to let you guys know, windows and doors work the exact same way. So when I teach you how to do a window, the doors are going to be the same. And there's going to be other things that we also want to edit. It could be text, it could be wall types. There's going to be different things we want to edit. When that's the case, we always duplicate it so we don't override the system standard. Okay? So if we wanted to do a 36-inch window, that's 42 inches by 18 inches. So first we'll just give it the proper name. Once it has the proper name, do you see under dimensions where it says height? Okay, so the new height, if you type in 18 inches and then enter, it'll fix it to 1 feet 6 inches. So again, dimensions, height, I put in 18 and then I added the inch symbol, enter. If you just put in 18, it will think that it's 18 feet and you're going to have a huge window.
Could we do 1 space 6 and would it recognize it?
Uh-huh, yep. All right, so we did the height and now we want the width. The width is 3, so as Riley was saying, if I do 3 space 6, enter, it'll change it to 3 feet 6 inches. So you don't have to deal with all of the units. And then once you're done with that, go ahead and hit OK. And this window is on the west side, so let's take a peek at how that's looking. And I'm so bad. I didn't have you guys open up multiple views to begin with. So we can do that now. Got ahead of myself.
So you're doing a 48 by 18, is that 48 inches tall?
42. So we're doing 3.5 feet by 18.
When you put the width first for the...
Let's go back here. So I did width 3.6 and then height 1.6. 1.636. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So right now I have main level, my west view, and my 3D. What do I hit to tile? Good. And I want you guys to spend a minute doing the same so that way we can really see this being built. Okay. Now, taking a look at this plan, actually before I go on, did everybody get their window size changed okay? And tiled? Yeah. Am I okay to go on? All right. So do you see, I'm going to say that each window is 6 inches away from the corner and 6 inches away from each other. So with that in mind, in Revit, I'm going to go back to, so let me ask you guys, right now I don't want to see all of these lines anymore because I have a hard time snapping to the right thing. How can I change it so that it just shows my walls as 2 lines and not all the detail? Good, course. So I'm going to come down here. The checkerboard, yes, I heard checkerboard. And this will just make life easier for me as I put in walls right now. Walls and reference planes. So let me show you what reference planes are. If you type in RP, you can just sketch a line real quick. Hopefully it stays within my viewport. These little lines right here that you can just kind of click and drag in place, they are lines that you can use for your reference that won't ever print. So I use them all the time if I'm trying to line things up from one another. Because if you're used to using AutoCAD, you can't move and track things like you used to. So now we use something called reference planes.
What was the code again?
RP, reference plane. Good. So let me show you where I'm going to put my reference plane. So I do RP, and I'm going to start it at the corner, just like that. And then I'm going to click on it. And this is where we get into some drafting that we haven't done before. I want to move this, and you can see that up here, there's a lot of different modifiers. So the shortcut for move is MV, and here's how it works. I type in MV for move, I click anywhere on it and then pull down, and I'm going to tell it to move 0 space 6 for 6 inches. And then it moves down from that corner. So I'm going to do that whole thing one more time from the top. What's my shortcut for a reference plane? RP, good. So I start on this corner and drag out. And then I hit escape to stop drawing. And then escape one more time to completely get out of reference plane. To move it, do you guys remember the shortcut?
My line did not end there.
Whoa, say that one more time.
As soon as I hit escape the second time, it was on.
Well, don't forget to click. So RP, you have to click once to start it and then click once to end it and then escape. Here's what happened. If you type in RP and click once to start it and then hit escape, it just completely gets rid of it. Okay, so RP. And I can't remember what I just asked you. Oh yeah, how do we move this? Pretend I don't know anything. If I typed in MV right now, it's activated, but I need to click on this first, right? Or click on your object, Yeah, so now it's mad at me. Click on your reference plane first, MV. And the first thing it wants to do is it wants to know where it's moving from. So click on it and say, hey, move it from here. And then you just take your mouse and pull it down. 6, enter. Oh shoot, I meant to put 0 space 6. Okay. Does anybody need to see that one more time? From the top or from where? Just the moving part. Okay, so hit escape for me a couple times to make sure we're starting fresh. Click on the line, the reference plane, and now type in MV. And now click on the line again. Essentially what you're doing right now is you are like holding it where you want to move it from. So you want to click anywhere on the line, and you see that that's where the mouse grabbed it from. Now type in 0 space 6 and then enter, and it should move it down. Did that work? Okay. Now we are going to move this window twice. First we're going to use it with the move command, and then I'm going to show you my favorite command that I use all the time. So if you want to move the window to the line, you click the window first, and then what's our shortcut? MV. And again, click anywhere on the window, that's where we're picking it up, and then we drag it down. So look at my window again. If I do MV, it's important where we select, because if I select this part here, it's going to be pretty much impossible for me to get the back of the window aligned right now, right? So that's why if I know that this line is supposed to be right here, it's important that that's where I pick it up from. So one more time. MV, pick it up from where you want to move it, and I just drag it down and then click to place. So everybody try that, and then if it works, good, and then hit Control Z. And I'm going to show you one other way of doing it. I'm going to show you the next way real quick, so take a look at my screen. The next one is called Align, or AL. And Align you can use with windows, walls, doors, lots of things. And the way that it works is first you click on where you want your object to go. So in this case, I want it to go to the reference plane. And then after that, click on the object you want to move. So in this case, my window, and it moves it down to that line. I'm going to do that one more time. So AL, click on the reference plane, and then click on the window, and it moves it down. The thing to remember that might be different for those of you guys who are used to CAD, when you're working in Revit, you click on what you want to align to first. Okay?
Where is that dotted line supposed to be? Sorry, I hit Control Z and it took away everything.
6 inches away from the corner. So same as before. And then what I want you guys to do, however you want to do it, I want you to put in the next window 6 inches away from this one. You can use move, you can use align. When you put in the window, you can use create similar. You can click on the window icon and put it in. But go ahead and put in the next window 6 inches away. Bless you. And then just make sure you have dimensions on to show me that it is in fact 6 inches away. So you've got lots of options for the next window. And then eventually this is what we'll have. If you happen to finish these up, go ahead and make your 36 by 36 inch window to put in here. But before you create the window, before you edit its properties, what do you need to do first? Do you want to override what's there? So what? Duplicate. Yep, don't forget to duplicate it first.
So can we use the CS to create similar
Uh-huh.
and just place it? But when I place it, I keep getting that little yellow Revit.
It's read on the bottom right hand corner why it's mad. It'll tell you.
Okay.
Try it one more time. So when you do create similar and you're trying to place it, it could be because you're putting it on top of something else, or maybe you're in another command.
It says 42 by 18, not cutting anything. What does that mean?
So you're trying to place a window not in a wall. So make sure when you put in the window, you click on a wall to put it in. Do you want me to walk you through it?
It's on a wall. Oh,
Okay, so if you see two windows and it looks okay, you should be okay.
yeah, it's there.
Okay, then you should be fine.
And drag that reference plane, how do you do that again?
Say it one more time.
Okay, so I've got a reference plane, or P, or MV,
Yep.
and you drag it.
No, click on it first, just click once. So, sorry, hit escape for me. I didn't know you did, so click on the reference plane, NV to move it. And now click on the reference plane to pick it up. Now drag it down, and now type in 06. Don't try to eyeball it, you'll get carpal tunnel. And so, sorry, I think you clicked before you typed it in, so hit Control Z. Okay, so click on your reference plane. Okay, MV. Click on it to pick it up. Drag it down, and now type in 0 space 6. Enter. There you go. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Okay, now you can just move the other one, align the other one, whatever you feel like doing. Okay, I'm stuck on doing it in the right spot. How did you put all those measurements on? You tell me, what's the command for distance? BI. There you go. But and where are you going from? Because you got it kind of coming out like that. How do you do that? So I know that sounds, you know how to do this. I just want you to try. No, I know how to go from wall to wall, but you kind of pull it out. Are you going from like this way? Just try it. It'll come to you. I swear it. I've measured before. You've measured. Well, yeah, but from wall to wall, there's no walls. Try it. I'm right here. Type in DI. Okay, I did. I don't think you did. Look at your cursor. There you go. Okay. So where do you want to start? You want to start at the wall, right? Okay. I'm going from here to the window, right? So where should, right now you're not measuring anything. Okay. If you want to measure a window, where should your cursor be? So this is all open space, right? So if you want to measure from the wall to the window, you have to click on the wall and then click on the window. You're going diagonal. Yeah. But it'll always keep it straight for you. Okay. And then just keep going. Just click on the next thing you want to measure. If you want to keep measuring windows. So you clicked on the exact same spot again. So if you click on the window, so get the wall. Window. And I promise you don't have to be so careful. Drag it one up so that you won't break it. So now you placed it. Did you want to place it or keep going? Yeah. So when I did mine, I kept going. Like I measured all of them in one. Try it again and try to do it exactly like mine where you measure all in
it okay? It might take some finagling. You've got a whole house to practice.
36-inch window, is that centered on that wall?
The kitchen one? Yeah, I'm going to show you guys how to center the next one. So what we're going to do now, or what I'm going to do with you, oh, I don't think I hit pause. There's going to be a really long, awkward pause. Sorry. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is show you guys how to do this kitchen window right here. How many of you guys tried the kitchen window? Show of hands. Okay, good. Were you successful? Yeah? Okay, good. So I'm going to show you guys how you would do it, and then I'd want you guys to try it as well. I'm going to stop lecturing in about 10 minutes, and you guys will have 20 minutes just to keep going. And I will tell you guys the window sizes. Keep putting them in, and then use similar window sizes on your homework. You'll essentially be doing the same thing we did in lab for your homework. You'll just be putting in the windows and doors for the 2-bedroom. Okay? I'll write them up on the board and then paste them for you guys. So first thing I want to do, we're going to use this window again. So I can click on it and do create similar and then bring it over here. So in plan it looks right, but in 3D, is that correct? No, it's not the right height. So if you guys wouldn't mind, I do this quite a bit. Now I know that Maddie, you can't see me, but Maddie, I'm going to start with you. Each one of you are going to tell me the next step, and you're just going to try to walk me through it. So Maddie, I've never used Revit before. Where would you start? Sorry, to change the size of the window. Good. Perfect. Good first step. Okay, Catherine, where do I go next?
Go to the properties and click edit site.
Good. And then Julianne, from here, what would you do?
I was doing something else, sorry.
That's okay. Welcome back. So I'm trying to change this window size.
Right.
They've got me started.
Okay.
I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you go? And if Ashley wants to jump in and help, Ashley jump in and we'll come back to Julianne.
Would you change the dimensions, like under height?
That's where we want to go eventually. Julianne or Riley, is there something you do first?
I would rename it.
Even better than renaming it. Duplicate. So if you rename it, it's just renaming it and overwriting what was there. So duplicate first. Okay. So I'm going to duplicate. Do you guys remember the size of this one? Julianne?
32 by 18.
Yes, that's what it was. What do we want it to be in the kitchen?
Oh, it was,
It's square.
yeah, I know.
42 by...
42.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know it was, okay, 42.
That's all right. So remember, at any point in the semester, even if you do it every single time, if I call on you and you just don't like being put on the spot and don't want to talk to me, just say pass. If you do it like 4 times, I might eventually roll my eyes, but I really don't care. You can always say pass and move it on. Okay, so we've duplicated it. That makes a whole new copy. If we had just renamed it, it would have also changed our bedroom windows, but we want those to be unique. All right? So Taylor, I'm going to pass it to you. What would you do next?
Then we can go and change the dimensions.
Good. All right, so the width is correct, right? So what would you change the height to?
3 foot 6.
Yep, and how would you enter it, David? How would you put in 3/6 in here? There's lots of options.
Size?
How would you even input it?
42, well, 32
Yep.
and then 42.
Good, so you could do 42 inches enter. Good. Abby, do you have another way that we could enter it as well?
You can do 3, 6, 6.
Good, either way. And then I'm going to do OK. And now we can see in my 3D view that this window looks correct and I didn't change those two. Everybody with me so far? Where did I lose ya?
I am all the way at the beginning, so.
Yell at me sooner because I don't want to lose you.
I think it flipped the wrong direction.
Okay, that's easy to fix. If your windows flip the wrong direction, how did you flip a wall or door?
The space bar.
Okay, so flip your space bar. Okay, now where do I need to, are you good now?
Nope, that's where I got, that's what
So you have a window.
Yeah, I have a window.
Okay. So I'm going to have you walk me through it. I know.
The first thing that I'm right.
No, I think you'll know. We have a window selected. Where would you look in your properties to start making changes to it? So here's our properties. Do any of these buttons look familiar? And if they don't, I'm going to have Erin help you. Erin, you're up next.
Are we going to edit type?
Yep. Okay. And then, Erin, we're backing up a little bit from here. Should Heather start changing stuff just yet? Ignore my screen. Heather, do you know what to click first?
No.
Okay. Megan, help her out. What should she do first?
Duplicate?
Duplicate.
Okay.
So the reason
So
why...
Why are we hitting duplicate? That's what I gotta know. Is why.
I'll show you. So let's say right now, pretend that... okay, I'm going to just start from the beginning. Okay, that window is gone. It doesn't exist, okay? So I'm going to be back where you are. I grab this window. I do create similar. I put it in here. This is what not to do. Bear with me. So I've got these windows here. So I'm like, okay, I've got my window. I need to make this window taller. So I'm going to also make this one 42 inches. Okay. If I don't duplicate it, do you see that everything that used to be 42 by 18, it doesn't care what I've named it. It takes everything that was 42 by 18 and changes them. So did I want my bedroom windows to change? Okay, so I'm going to undo that. I think I'm going to undo it one more time. Now I'm back to kind of where you are, okay? So before you make changes to anything, always duplicate it first so you're not negatively impacting things that aren't supposed to change. So now it's 42 by 42. It's mad at me because it's like, dude, you already have a 42 by 42. So ignore me. I'm just going to go put this
So when I
back.
duplicate, it pops up a little box and says saying 42 by 18.
Yeah, so now when you duplicate it, just rename it.
And what am I making it?
I'm going to let you tell me. It's a square window.
What's the 2 on the end for?
So if it's 42 wide, how high should it be?
42.
Yeah, I swear you know this. It's real. It's in there. I think you're just we all are afraid to answer, but it's just Revit. It's the beginning of Revit. We can mess it all up and fix it. It's very forgiving.
These names that come up, what's the 2 after the?
It means it's the second because I've already made one.
Okay.
Since I'm duplicating it twice, it's saying that this is the second one. Ignore what I'm doing right now. But.
So
Riley?
if we wanted to, could we rename it like kitchen window?
Yeah,
Yeah?
that's
But
fine.
Would that change it all over Revit or would
Nope,
it
just
change
that one.
objects?
It would be just that one.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so now we've got this window in here. So Riley and Brooke, you guys might be off the hook, but actually let me see if something pops up. So this window is supposed to be centered. When I click on the window, do you guys see anything here that might help me center it? It's really subtle. The equal button? Just pretend that's what you're going to say. So if I hit equal, what it's going to do is it's going to try to make, oh sorry, no, that wasn't the one. Let me do one more thing. Okay, let's see, is it coming up here? No, this just keeps the dimensions. Let me show you guys. I'm going to make this a little bit more dramatic, okay, for it not being centered. So let me do this. Let me wait just a second. If you guys have your window in place, actually, if you need another minute, will you guys just give me a thumbs up on your chest if you need another minute?
Do we need to change the dimensions as well, or do you just
Yeah.
change it in the name? So I put in 42 on height and 42 on the width, and it just immediately changed it back to 3:6.
Well, you want it to be 3/6. So if you look at the height,
That's 42 inches. Okay.
yeah,
Got it.
okay. I don't like to do math when it comes to feet and inches. It's really hard for me to remember to do 12 inches instead of 10. I don't know if that makes sense. So I just let Revit do the math for me.
Okay. And then just hit okay.
Yep. Now, if everybody has their window, yes? Okay, I didn't see anybody flag me down. Take a look at my screen as to what we're gonna do next, but this is how you would center something. Oh no, what did I do? I did a shortcut I didn't want to do. Okay, we're good. So I'm gonna do DI. I'm gonna start here, but I'm gonna find the center of the window. Before I did the ends, now I want the center, so I'm gonna grab the center of the window and then the end of this wall, and I'm just gonna place it wherever. Did you guys see that after I placed it, this EQ comes up and it's crossed out? That means not equal. But if I click on this, it moves it so that the window is now equal in this opening. Did you guys understand the concept? So I measured it from wall to center to wall, and then I hit the equal button and it moved it for me. I'm gonna do that one more time. So what's the shortcut to dimension? DI. I go from wall, where do I go? From wall to where?
Center of the window.
Yeah, and it takes just a sec, but it does highlight for you. There's this blue tab that pops off. And then I find the other end of the wall. I'm done. This tiny little EQ. Click on it and it should move the window and center it for you. Anybody want to see that one more time? Was there an mm-hmm? Yeah? That's all right.
So do I place the,
Okay.
I'm just not seeing the EQ.
So DI, right? I'm gonna
From wall to
place
window.
it. Okay. And then as soon as I place it, do you see that it's tiny? There's an EQ there. Click on that and it should move it to the center.
Doesn't seem to want to snap on the center of the window.
It should. So when you do DI, it takes a minute, but just kind of hover. So if you try to do it from the outside, it won't work. You really have to come in to the center of the window and hover, and it should find it.
Okay, now it brought up the center.
Okay. It can be a little picky, but it'll eventually get there. Remember, Revit is just a computer. Give it a break. It's trying to do exactly what you're telling it, and since we're just starting off, we don't quite know exactly what to tell it to do, but it will come around. So what I would like you guys to do for the assignment this week is to at least try to keep going, putting in your windows and doors. Take your best guess. You know, I said that I was going to go online and tell you exactly what size they are. Giving your best guess, and then when we come in class on Thursday, we will kind of continue. So just do a little bit more of this exercise, and then we will finish putting in the doors and windows as well. We'll spend some time putting them in, but really putting in the doors and the windows is the exact same thing. And then being able to relocate them is the exact same thing. We're using a combination of reference planes, moves, aligns, and dimensions. We're pulling a ton of stuff from our toolbox, and I would suggest with each one, try different techniques, okay, and see which one might be your favorite. Align is absolutely my favorite. Reference planes are my favorite. My husband is married to dimensions. My husband's also an architect. He has a million dimension strings on his work where I'm like, what are you looking at? I can't see anything. So find what works for you, but since we're in the beginning, try all of them. Okay, so let me write my notes up here. I know that you guys take a ton of notes, and I just try to write the highlights here. So I'm gonna do another little box here. So with windows and doors, we introduced families. Do you remember that? So families, we can load them and pull in different window or door types if we want to. Eventually in this semester, you guys will also use families to load in different types of furniture, different types of annotation. A lot of stuff lives within families, okay? So we went and let's say we found a really fancy window that we used today. We didn't, but let's say that we did. Once we have a window that we want to use, do we have to use the size it came in at? Or can we edit it? Okay. How do we edit those windows? What was it under? Properties, edit type. Good. So properties and edit type allowed us to make changes. Now, if we didn't want to override like a system standard window or a window that already exists in the project, what is the key thing that we need to do before we make changes? Duplicate. Good. Edit, and then in stars, I'm putting duplicate. And hopefully you guys remember the example that I did in class where I took the bedroom window, put it in the kitchen, didn't duplicate it, and you saw that it changed both of the sizes. Now, it's an easy fix. If you do that, just go back and duplicate it, and then they will be separate from one another. It's okay if it happens. So properties, edit, duplicate. And then when it came to placing and configuring, tell me some of the commands that we used, or techniques. RP, good. Reference plane. What else? MV. Which one? What does that stand for?
Move.
Good. We moved it. When we're talking about RP and move, what's really important about where you click on the object? What do you need to remember?
To click the part that you want to be equal with the reference
Yeah,
plane.
so grab it from where you want to move it. I know this sounds silly, but see this chair right here? So everybody has to pretend you're in a hovercraft and we've got this chair. Okay, we're looking from above at how I'm working. I am Revit, I'm a mouse. I want to take this chair and center it on essentially the middle of this whiteboard. Yes, this whiteboard right here. I was about to say chalkboard. So when I'm in Revit, I click on it, I'm like, Revit, I'm moving this chair. That was my first click, right? Now it's waiting for me to say, okay, where are we picking it up from? So you guys, I know it's hard to see, but do I pick it up from this front part of where I sit, from the center of the chair, so A, B, or C? Where's the best place to pick it up from if I want to center it back there? C. Good, because any Spanish speakers? C. Sorry. So if I grab it from the back center, then I can center it with the board. If I grabbed it by the center of the chair, like where I sit, where would the chair end up by the time I got it here? It's in the middle of the wall, right? If I grabbed it by the front, that seems logical because it's like, hey, it's centered and it's kind of in the front, but now it's going back behind through the wall. So this is the same thing, whether you're in Revit or CAD. It's really important to think about where you're picking your object up from. So that second click, it'll make life so much easier if you pick it up from the correct spot to try and move it. And again, this concept will come up again and again because we're not just moving windows and doors, but we'll be doing furniture, we might be doing stairs, even text is important to know where you're picking up from. So we're taking it, I mean, we've spent almost 2 hours on just learning how to set up a sheet and putting in 3 windows. So we're taking it really slow right now. Take advantage of the time that you have to practice, both the exercise and the assignment. Go through it the best that you can. And then on Thursday, we'll kind of continue where we left off. Let me look at our schedule real quick for Thursday. I'm pretty sure it's a BIM review already. If it isn't, okay, views and sheets. So we were able to cover that today. And then, yeah, when we come back on Thursday, we're just going to keep going with these concepts. But try to practice it a little bit more if you can. And then next week, we're going to start on some new stuff. All right? Okay, I'm going to leave you guys to it.